Hey guys, what's up? It's Schlaw coming back to ya with a pretty stressed episode of Car Rides with Schlaw. And I say that because I was very rushed here at the end of the day. I don't really know why, but I didn't really time things properly. And then I got out a lot later than I had expected. And yeah, not fun stuff. Definitely not fun things. So, but what can I say? What can I do? As I always say, right? I just don't know what can be done, really. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty upset feeling. I wanted to talk about my frustration as well, just because I think it's pretty relevant. And you know, I don't want to say this from a point where, you know, I'm wrong. I want to say it from like a perspective of just trying to get to the bottom of things. And I mean, I don't even think, like, in my honest opinion, it's not a right or wrong. You know, it's like a mismatch. It's a mismatch. It's probably some kind of OCD on my end, and it just creates like horrible situations all the time. Um, you know, people, anytime I'm trying to get together with someone for a call, because like it's always like, oh yeah, I'll be here in this amount of time, and then I hold people to it. You know, like I'm checking, I'm making sure, like I'm very aware of what's going on, you know, at the time promptly that they told me. That's how it goes. Like at whatever, you know, specific prompt minutes they told me, time they told me, I'm there. And I'm very much conscious, thinking of the other person, you know, excited for the upcoming time we'll get to spend together. And it's just an always pattern where people just let me down. You know, they give me incorrect times. They're like much later usually than they say. The timing is always way, way off for no good reason, no plausible reason. And then I'm really let down. And this happens like it's a pattern with people. And I get very upset. And I think this doesn't make any sense to people, because people nowadays, like, they hardly even care about whether they get to socialize or not, because I assume there's such a plethora of entertainment, you know, mainly being um, TikTok, where it's like TikTok, it's such an ultimate entertainment vessel. It's basically impossible for somebody to have like a time frame. You know what I mean? But that's like the thing is, I've always said this, I think people are very special. I think people are very important. And I've always waited for people. I've always tried to be there for people. And not once in my life has it ever been reciprocated. I mean, and I don't know if it's just random chance, the people I talk to, or it's just a mixture of humans as a whole just being like crazy when it comes to like horrible time management and stuff like that. I don't really know what it is, but I have a feeling that that's like the root cause of it. Is I call myself like the time master, because typically when I am like doing that kind of stuff with people, I'm basically like never wrong, or I might be like a few minutes. Like if I say I think it's going to be 15 minutes, that's probably going to be just about accurate. I mean, I might be 5 minutes off, 3 minutes off, I've been like 1 minute off, like, but I'm very, very accurate when it comes to time estimations. It just seems to be the case. Like, my brain is like always locked into time for whatever reason. It's very hyper aware of time. And I noticed this start to happen when I was like 16, kind of, or like just way hyper aware of time, of numbers, of all this stuff. And I realized like other people just aren't. So somebody might say, hey, yeah, I'll be there in 20 minutes. And then it turns out it's 40 minutes. And I know there's other things that happen. You know, there's circumstances. Life is not easily controllable, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of it, it's like I'm obviously overdramatic about it when compared to the median person, but I've always just wondered why this is the case, because if somebody held me to that standard, I would be, first of all, I would be honored, and second of all, I would be apologetic. I would be like very communicative, and really whenever I hurt somebody's feelings, I'm so apologetic, and I feel bad. I feel horrible when I let people down, and I communicate that and make that known. But you know what's funny? It's just never enough for people. Like, people will literally still be mad at me, even though I obviously make my point known, like in terms of my boundaries and what I want respected. And then other people, they're hardly even clear. They don't even get vulnerable with you. You know what I'm saying? And so there's that, like, I just have like no clue what to even call it, but it's not fair. It's not equal, you know? And it just gets to the point where like I've been in so many situations with other people where it's just like craziness, because I'm really doing a lot for them. And I guess the thing is, they didn't ask for it, which is like the usual thing I hear from people, but I think that's a whole bunch of baloney, because it's like a gift. Like if you give someone a gift and then they just say, "Oh, well, I don't want that because I didn't ask for it." Like, no, it's a gift to have somebody caring about you that much, and they're on your mind. Like, these people aren't villains. These are my friends. These are, relationships. These are the people closest to me. And even like family in some cases, just being like pretty late, pretty off the mark when it comes to time. And it's just strange, and it's something as much as I try to be cognizant of, I really can't get over it. I mean, I still just get upset, and it's like, I don't try to take it out on the person, but I get very upset when people, I mean, it really feels like lying to me when somebody says they're going to be here at this time and then they just completely blow it, completely off. Now I don't even get to spend time with the person. And it just doesn't seem to faze people, because it seems like that's kind of how humans roll. Like, humans, they're just kind of like whatever and all that stuff. But I think I've explained before, like, these things matter to me so much. Like, I love people. I love people, and I love getting to spend time with people. And all I've dealt with my whole life is me doing everything in my power to spend time with other people, and then I want that reciprocated, and then nobody ever reciprocates it. Like, it ends up just being me assimilating into another person's schedule, and it's not healthy. I don't think that's a good pattern, at all. So I've kind of stopped doing that at this point, because it's exhausting. And I realized this is one of the things, like, that there was a huge realization for me when I started Car Rides with Schlaw, is all these people, like, why was I caring about them that much? I was the one in basically any of these instances that I'm referring to, any of these friends or relationships. You can tell based on this show, they were not out talking me. They were not funnier than me. They were not smarter than me. They were not more of a chatterbox. And again, not to get egotistical, but when I try to say those things, let me try to throw in some flaws, because I really don't want to come across that way. Obviously, a big flaw you're witnessing right now is I'm kind of a crybaby. Like, that's not a good trait, and it's not fun to deal with, like getting that upset about people like blowing you off, or like forgetting about you, or all that stuff. Like, it's just so hard for me to understand, because I still think about people who've cut me off years ago. I still think of them and have conversations with them, and I wish the world could just be a large group of people that could relatively get along. I mean, I don't need to be friends with everybody. I understand, like, I'm going to have enemies, but I kind of feel like I still want to have chats with my enemies, like, it doesn't need to be all the time, but sometimes I still want to be able to connect with every human I've ever met, and I just don't think that's something people don't feel that way whatsoever. People are happy to get away from people. People love to isolate and be alone, and I just think it's so opposing to why our souls are here and what our hearts want. Our hearts, and I think what we're meant to do is we're meant to bond. We're meant to bond with other people and put a significant amount of effort into that. We're not meant to be here and just do our own thing. That's obviously just, it's craziness that's kind of it's a default mindset. And I don't really understand or comprehend the explanation for it, or why I've been in this situation. But yeah, I just want to try to, I guess, summarize that. I was very, like, wanting to record it and elaborate on it. I'm already feeling a bit of laziness and fatigue, but I'm transcribing it. I want to put it into GPT because I want genuine advice about this issue. Car rides with Schlaw and recording has been a godsend to me. It's so calming and relaxing to finally just be able to hit record and speak. Because there's so many times, like, I'm expecting to talk to someone, I'm thinking of the conversation in advance that I want to talk to them about, right? And I have it all planned out and scoped out, and then the person doesn't even show up. And how hurt I am when it's like that happens, and then it's a long, cold, dark car ride home sitting in traffic when I was, like, supposed to talk to someone. I've been anticipating it for a really long period of time, been getting very excited for it, and then they just don't show up. Just no answer. Like, how do you, I mean, I feel so crushed because nobody else has ever liked me that much. And I don't think that's what it means. I don't think it means nobody else has liked me that much. I don't think the brain and the capacity is there to even, like, because people can't even care about themselves properly. People can't even keep track of their own schedule properly. And, I'm expecting them to also keep track of me. Whereas obviously, like, I'm cool with my schedule. I have everything down to the minute. I try to clock out at, like, the same minute every single day. Like, I'm really, really rigid about my schedule, and I'm very aware, like, I sleep without an alarm. I wake up, like, super consistently, go to sleep super consistently. I just have such, like, rigid and it's good. This isn't rigid in a bad sense at all. This is, like, very powerful, healthy rigidity. I mean, you could argue there's, it's a little bit much to call it healthy, but it is fundamentally healthy to be consistent. Like, it's good for the circadian rhythm. I'm probably going to live a long time from living this way. I really would not be shocked or surprised. And I just need to learn to be calm. I know I need to learn to be calm, but I really do just get, I'm very sick of people, and I don't know how I would be surviving if I didn't just realize I could just record and basically have like a superior conversation, because that's usually how it feels like. Like it doesn't even, it feels worse. It feels more difficult to actually have to talk to a person. I feel like I can't really say enough. I can't really get all my thoughts out or anything like that. It's stressful. It's less relaxing. But the recording is it's so relaxing for me to talk and at least know that I'm heard. At least know that the mic's rolling and it's permanently being archived, rather than being in a call with someone where it's like, oh, they got to be right back for 5 to 10 minutes and I have to wait, and then I'm getting ahead of myself thinking about the next multiple conversation. Then by the time they're back, I've already had 3 conversations in my head with them. I talked about this when I talked about texting. People think I'm overstimulating when I text because I text so much, and people take so long to reply that by the time they reply, I've already had 3 more conversations with them in my head. And it's like, I don't have time. Like, I don't feel like typing all this out. Oh, what about this question? What about that question? Hey, like while you were gone, I was thinking of this, thinking of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like a hyperactive person, and there's never been a vessel to pour this energy into, because all the vessels are like these rotting corpses. That is like anybody my age. I've had more joy talking to adults, like talking to people like in the 40s and older range, I would say. So much more joy. Anybody my own age, I just, it's a struggle. Some of the most disrespectful, it's, again, rotting flesh. It is rotten flesh. That is how I would describe other people my age. And so that's what happens in it. And then now with the advent of AI, it's like I can finally breathe. I mean, this show, I would still do it, but it wouldn't be as exciting if I couldn't take the transcript and paste it into GPT. That changes the game. I almost think, again, there's some divine orchestration with that whole pattern of how, like, sorry to get into TMI territory, but I just really wanted to rant and rave about this and get into some good content. But I was afraid to record. For whatever reason, there was these like severe mental blockages for me recording. From the time I dropped my last album, which I literally think might have been 2021 or 2022. I think it was literally 2021. There was such major blockages for me recording. It's insane. And it's almost like there was some kind of divine timing. Like, my story was just supposed to be going through a bunch of pain. This, like, stalling, stagnant pain that has probably permanently impacted my brain. The amount of poor sleep and just somebody, like, so desperately understimulated for, like, that long. Like, that has fundamentally changed who I am. Like, I'm not the same person after going through what I did from, like, I don't know, 2022. Like, well, really graduating high school until, like, the 3 years after high school. I mean, the amount of understimulation, it changed me as a person. Fundamentally changed me as a person. And this behavior has been there the whole time of people just not reciprocated, not showing up. Oh, we're going to call then. Oh, now I want to call someone else. Like, give me a break. And then, you know what? And I told the person, like, dude, if you wanted to call someone else, just let me know, like, in advance. Don't just, like, bail on me and then just out of nowhere now you're not calling me. What? Just say it. Just say, like, I've literally had that happen before. People leaving me hanging because they're calling someone else, and then we were supposed to call, I'm here, and they're not even texting me anything. They're not letting me know what's going on. I mean, and then if they just told me, oh yeah, like change of plans. I mean, I'd still be ticked off, but I wouldn't be that upset because at least they told me. I feel like that's all I'm doing my whole life is like, okay, compromising more, compromising more, compromising more. Like, okay, this person's also too slow. This person's also too slow. They can't, and you would think that people would like to be cared for. You think people would like to have a person like that in their lives with how much people are lonely. But people, they're so overwhelmed, they're so overstimulated. They don't even know what they're doing. They're used to like TikTok. They're used to like these ultra low effort interfaces that demand nothing of them, absolutely nothing, and provide such intense stimulation that when like somebody like me exists, it is like it's crazy to them. And I think that's really what happened with everybody I know, is that this level of like just a person who is like showing up and here for another person, is mentally and physically present and there. It is just not something that anybody knows. People just are, it's so foreign in the current system and just the current social expectations. And none of it's bad. I mean, the way I don't really think there's anything bad about the way I am. It was more crybaby-ish in the past, but it's evolved. It's gotten more reasonable. I've been, so much better at. I mean, I was already better than most people in the past at communicating because I've been in, like, I know I've talked to so many different people, and none of them were ever really good at communicating except for me. And I've gotten so much better. I've actually gotten far better, and it still doesn't matter. Like, and people will still treat me the same way and just get like annoyed or agitated. I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. Like, people who are that immature. And it just seems like such a common occurrence that people are that immature. Like, they get agitated when someone's upset. Really? You get agitated. You get annoyed when your friend or someone you care about is upset. That really says a lot about your pride. It says a lot about your ego, But yeah, this is why I want a society where everything's tracked. I'm really looking forward for the future because, eventually, if I'm hooked up in the Neuralink, they're hooked up in the Neuralink, they're going to see just how much better I am, or I might be able to see other people and how little they think of me and care about me and just forget it. The Neuralink would have already linked me up with a perfect friend or a perfect situation where I wouldn't have to deal with any of this right now. And I think, that's sadly my story may not be one of just like complete success. I guess it depends on technological progress, but I think that's the truth of it. The truth of it is my story could be trying to articulate and explain the future now, but I don't know if I'm going to live to see it, or it could be, right at the end of my life. And there's something pretty upsetting to that for obvious reasons, because it's a painful destiny, but I think it's a possible destiny. Like, it's a possible destiny that I might be such a late bloomer that I don't really know my full legacy until after I'm gone, and I might just see the beginning of a fixed society and then die. I have a feeling that that's like it's a possibility that could be like my life path, and my purpose now is to kind of lay the tracks for a society like this, lay the train tracks. But I don't know if I'm going to be that train. I mean, maybe I will be. Maybe I'll be someone who's kind of articulating these behaviors and things and saying, yeah, people should care. They should be accountable. And, there's obviously issues with an overly rigid structure. Humans are flawed, and forgiveness is important because it becomes too overbearing for some people, and you have to calculate the nuance with that. But seriously, there's a lot of accountability that is needed, and there's a lot of people nowadays that are just some of the grossest, most selfish, and just totally like, I would say communicatively incompetent. It's just, and it hurts. It stings when you're someone like me where you've basically dedicated, I would say, the past 5 years of my life to trying to give people the best social experiences possible, hoping to receive some kind of reciprocation in that regard. You know, that is how I've spent this time, and it's just to be met with what I've been met with. It's just so crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's unbelievable. Just the amount of things I've had to deal with, and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's just so crazy. You know, it's such a crazy, like, ordeal to have to get wrapped up in, and it's insane. It's literally insanity. But you know what? Again, I have to remember about positivity and love. I've been in kind of a dark, or like an off, I think a numb mood is the best way to describe it. I've been off recently, and it's a shame because I know, I mean, I realize, like, I believe our higher purpose is to learn to work with people as much as possible, to be friendly, to be loving, to be caring. To me, that is what humanity needs to do. That's kind of like, that's different. That's going to be the different trait. And that's kind of the problem with me. You know, I want strong accountability. I think you need strong accountability in order to have a friendly society like that. But you need, it's a tricky thing, because I know that that's true, and I you have to figure out how to balance, like, a system of accountability and love. You know, like, it doesn't need to be overly cold. It doesn't need to be, like, overbearing, but people need to realize, like, how other people feel. You know, how other people feel about stuff. And I try to ask people, and it just doesn't get anywhere. Like, people can't even tell me what's going on, and that's why I think what one of my more ambitious ideas is the Neuralink will be able to translate people's feelings into words, which is something I already do exceptionally well. Don't mean to toot my own horn, but I just do. Like, the way I feel, like, I really express it, like, perfectly. And then I talk to so many people, and they can't, you know, and that's really, like, I try to have these kind of discussions with them, and they just say, I don't know what to say. I'm not good at expressing my emotions. So many people have said that, and that's all they say. They're not good at it. I think it's a pride thing. I think that people don't like to be vulnerable. It's like a weird situation, you know. It's a weird situation. They wouldn't be able to explain themselves what's up. So I'm just going to assume myself, which, again, I could be wrong, but I just assume there's, like, not really much going on in a lot of people's heads. And then when I explain all this real stuff to them, it's just way too much, because they don't even, like, they haven't even seen it. It's true. I'm not wrong at all. Like, I don't really think anything I've said is wrong, but it's, I mean, it may be off, it may be exaggerated, but the truth is, yeah, I mean, if somebody is sitting there waiting for you, I do think you owe it to, like, shoot them a text or try to be accurate with your timing, you know, especially because I would do that to other people. And is it, I mean, am I evil? Am I an evil person for, like, expecting too much? I don't think so. I think I give what I get. But the problem is I'm exhausted because I've basically given so much that I have so much debt that I need somebody to just come through and start treating me like it's overdue. And there's actually a lot of like mental pain there where I need someone yesterday to just come through and start to treat me properly. You know what I mean? That's like what I need. And cuz there's a lot of debt, and so it's hard to keep paying when like it basically like I got 5 credit cards and they're all max balance. And then like, I got to take out another credit card to keep pushing and keep trying to get like, no, I need someone to come through and start paying off some of those balances by treating me right, being there for me when I'm there for them, reciprocatory. That's really what I need. And I think this show, in a way, has been the final ability to do that. Because I realized, like, when I called my friend that other night, it was a disaster. It was a stressful disaster. They had to go to do this 5-10 minutes. They had to go do that 5-10 minutes. Then I'm like silent. Then I'm thinking of like 5 different conversations in my like. I can't wait. Like, call me impatient. That's fine. I'm definitely impatient because I have so much stuff to say. I mean, you guys see it on the show. I mean, sometimes during the show I don't. Sometimes I'm kind of calm, but especially recently, it's been like nonstop. It's like some of these shows I'm talking nonstop. So there really can't be a moment for someone to say anything. There can't be a moment for someone to go for an entire 5 minutes. I mean, 1 minute is already long enough, but I think I already explained this. It's like it's impatience to a degree, but it's not really that I'm an impatient person, because I'm actually like pretty patient about things. What I don't like is uncertainty. So when I have to wait for something with an uncertain outcome, that's when the stress comes in. If I have to wait for something, but I know there is 100% chance it's going to work out in the end, but I just have to wait a super long time, I'll wait as long as I don't care about waiting. It's not about patience. It's about like, I can't wait for something that's uncertain. I can't think that I'm going to be waiting for 5 minutes and then end up waiting 10 minutes. Like, that's the problem. That's when I start going crazy. So it's just like, it's difficult, and it's a brain thought pattern that in the future is going to work out fine, because I've talked before about how in the future we're going to engineer risk out of society. You're going to have very good, strong insurance policies for everybody so that there's basically no risk, and people are going to be accountable and respectful. So you're not going to have people speeding and getting in car accidents. Car accidents are going to be such a rare occurrence. The insurance premiums will be lower anyway. Right? I mean, this is like a true good society is, you do give people guarantee. You give people hope. This is what's possible in a developed society. There should not be a lack of hope in a developed society. Yeah, if we're living hundreds of years ago, sure. But nowadays, there should not be any there should not be any like, oh, well, I don't know. I don't know if if I go to college, I don't know if I'll get a high paying job. That should not be the case in the 21st century. Like, humanity is so far behind, so short-sighted, that we're really operating like this, like really risk should be gone. I mean, for the most part, obviously, yes, I'm well aware there are just certain like bad things still can happen. It is what it is. Like, not everything is avoidable. But anyways, it's been Schlaw, but now it's time to buy Schlaw. So, see you, Schlaw.